e-learning classes. Okay, and in this class we are going to discuss about the food crops other than grains. In the last class we have discussed about the grains, but today we will not discuss about the grains. We are going to discuss about the food crops which does not include grains, but it is other than grains. Okay, so let us see what are those. Those are sugarcane, oilseed, tea and coffee. In this session we will discuss on these four crops, that is sugarcane, oilseed, tea and coffee. Let us quickly discuss on one by one. Okay, so let us start. The first one is sugarcane. Okay, it is a tropical as well as subtropical crops. That means it can be grown in tropical region as well as in subtropical region. Now let us see the climatic condition in which it grows. The temperature required for the growth of sugarcane is 21 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius, and the rainfall, that means amount of rainfall required, is 75 centimeter to 100 centimeter of rainfall. That means it should be, the climate should be hot and humid. Okay, so it requires a hot and humid type of climate, and it is grown in some other places also where there is very less rainfall, but with the help of irrigation. Irrigation is required in some region where there is very low rainfall. Okay, now next is your soil type. It can be grown on a variety of soil and needs manual labor from sowing to harvesting. From here we can understand that it can be grown in different kinds of soil, as well as during the sowing and harvesting process the labor required is manual. We cannot use machinery, but we need what? Manual labor. Okay, the next one is ranking. India is the second largest producer of sugarcane after Brazil. Brazil is the leading producer of sugarcane, and next is our country, that is India. Okay, it is the main source of sugar, gur, which is also called jaggery, and then khansri and molasses. These are some of the products which are made from the sugarcane. Okay, now let us understand the major state which produce sugarcane. Okay, major sugar producing states. Let us understand this. First one is Uttar Pradesh, second one Maharashtra, then Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Bihar, Punjab and Haryana. These are the states where the sugarcane is produced in a good numbers. Okay, that means good amount of production is done in these states. Okay, so with this we have finished sugarcane. Now let us move on to oil seeds. Okay, now let us understand about oil seeds. Okay, here is the data of 2008. Let us understand this. In 2008, India was the second leading producer of groundnut after China. Okay, and in the same year, it was also the third largest producer of rapeseeds after Canada and China. Canada being the first, China being the second, and India was the third largest producer of rapeseed in 2008. Okay, now let us understand what are the different kinds of oil seeds grown in our country. Okay, now different oil seeds are grown covering approximately 12% of total cropping of our country. Now what are those crops? Let us see. Okay, that is grown in the 12% of the total cropping area. Those are groundnuts, mustard, cotton, sesame, that is we also call it in a local language, that is til. Okay, next is your soybean, castor oil seed, next is your cotton seed, linseed and sunflower. So all these are the main oil seeds that is grown in our country. Now why do we grow this? There must be some uses. Now let us understand the uses of these seeds also. Okay, most of these seeds are edible and used in cooking. Like we have got groundnut, mustard, okay, coconut, soybean. Okay, these are all edible. Sunflower is also there. Okay, these all are edible seed. Okay, edible seed. From this seed we get oil, and we use that oil in the cooking process. Okay, and we use these oils as a medium of cooking in our home. Now beside the cooking purpose, there are other uses of these seeds also. Those are for making soap, cosmetic and ointments. Now we have already understood about the uses of the oil seeds. Now let us understand the season in which they grow. Let us understand one by one. The first one is groundnut. It is a kharif crop and accounts for about half of the major oil seeds produced in our country. Suppose there are 10 kinds of oilseed produced in India. Out of that, whatever amount is the total number of production done in our country, the half of the account comes under groundnut. That means in the total production, the half of the production is of groundnut. Okay. Now in 2011 and 12, Gujarat was the largest producer of groundnut, followed by Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Now we can understand by the data of 2011 and 12, we came to know that Gujarat was the largest producer of groundnut in that time. Okay. Now let us understand about linseed and mustard oil. They both are the rabi crops. That means they grow in the winter season. Okay. Now beside these two crops, there is another crop, that is sesamum, that we have also understood that it is also called as a til as in local language. Okay. So it is the kharif crop in North India and rabi crop in South India. The til is grown in the kharif season in the northern side of our country, and the same crop is grown as a rabi crop in the southern part of the country. Okay. Now let us understand another important seed, that is castor seed. It is grown both as rabi crop and kharif crop. That means it is grown in both the season. That means in kharif season also it is grown, as well as in the rabi season also it is grown. That means it is grown in both the season. Okay. Okay students, now let us understand about another crop, that is tea. Tea is an important beverage. As we know, we all like to take a sip of tea early in the morning. Okay. Now let us understand this. Tea cultivation is an example of plantation agriculture, and it was initially introduced by the British. This plant, that is tea, okay, it was first introduced by the British in India. When they came to India, they found that the weather condition and the soil type in India was very good. Okay, mostly in the hilly areas. Okay, it was good for the plantation of tea. So they started this, and afterwards it was continued by the Indian government. Now let us understand what was the climatic condition which they have observed and find that it was suitable for the cultivation. Let us understand this. It grew well in tropical and subtropical climate. So here in India we have got this kind of climate, so it was able to grow in this area. Okay. Tea requires warm and moist, frost-free climate all throughout the year. So we know that in India, okay, mostly in the part of Assam and Darjeeling Hills, okay, the soil type and weather condition is very suitable for the plantation of tea. So here we have got moist, frost-free climate all throughout the year. That is why it has been developed well in this region. The frequent shower eventually distributed all over the year ensure continuous growth of tender leaves. Now we know that leaves of a tea plant is very important. Okay, the fresh tender leaf has to be plucked and sent for the processing of making tea, and then it is exported to the other part of the country as well as abroad the country. Okay, so let us understand the soil type, okay, that is required for the growth of plant, that is tea. Deep and fertile, well-drained soil which should be rich in humus and organic matter. That means the soil should be deep and fertile, as well as it should be well-drained, and it should have a rich content of humus and organic matter. So this is the requirement of the climatic condition and soil type. Now let us understand about the human activity on the plant. Okay, so what I mean to say is that what kind of labor is required for this plantation. Okay, that means tea plantation. Let us understand this. Tea is a labor-intensive industry, and that is why it requires a cheap and skilled labor. Okay, the fresh tender leaf has to be plucked very carefully, and since it is planted in the hilly region, so there should be a good number of people for plucking the leaves. So we require a cheap and skilled labor for this plantation. Okay, tea is processed within the tea garden and restored its freshness. Okay, so to restore the freshness, the processing work, the tea processing work has to be done in the tea garden area only. Okay, so this is one of the important factors that we have to keep in mind. Now another one is about the tea producing states. Now let us understand the major tea producing states of our country. The first one is Assam. Assam is the largest producer of tea in India, so it ranks first. After Assam, the hills of Darjeeling and Jalpaiguri district of West Bengal is another important place from where the tea is produced. Okay, beside Assam and West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Kerala are also some of the major tea producing states. Okay, now other tea producing states are Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Meghalaya, Andhra Pradesh and Tripura. These are the other tea producing states beside the major tea producing states of India. Okay. Now in 2008, China was the first, Turkey was the second, and India was the third largest producer of tea. Okay. So you have to keep this record also. Okay. India ranked third in 2008 after China and Turkey. Okay, in tea producing. Now let us understand about another crop, that is coffee. Okay. Coffee is another important beverage which is liked by the people all over the world. Okay. In 2008, India produced 3.2% of the world coffee production. Okay, and it is of Arabic variety, which was initially brought from the Yemen, and it was produced in the country. Okay, this variety is in great demand all over the world, and that is why our country has produced a good quality of coffee, and which is also in great demand in rest part of the world. Okay, one more thing that is very important to know is that initially its cultivation was introduced on the Baba Budan hill, and even today it is cultivated in those regions, and it is confined to the Nilgiri in Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So these are the states where the coffee plantation is done. Okay. In the next class we will be learning about the horticulture crop and non-food crops. Okay. Now with this I would like to end the session here only, and I have provided a set of questions for you all to revise at home, and those questions will be helpful for you all during the time of online assessment. Okay, so please go through the PDF. Okay, download the PDF from the site and then go through the questions. Okay, now with this I would like to take a leave from the session. You all take care, stay safe and prepare yourself for the examination. Thank you.